You know, I'll be reading the last one too. I don't want to be in the shoes of Addo. That man has tried. Because you see, something that has spiritual connotation. I don't care the opinion you have about this matter as the National Cathedral is concerned. As the spiritual aspect is concerned, it has a lot to do in resetting of this nation. You may not understand. One of the things that keep fighting our nation without we knowing, as one of the errors that took place, is the life of the judges that were taken. It is one of the things that keep to fight our foundation. So you see, even though it's Addo who made the promise that God, the sites that were chosen was to do a reset of silencing the voices of the blood of the judges that keep speaking against the nation. We always want to make noise about everything without properly thinking. But how can that happen? The foundation is destroyed. And I mentioned that I'm wondering when Addo will be feeling. Because men who call themselves, forgive me, I will say it. And anytime I think about it, it breaks my heart. That men who call themselves men of God, majority, that this man trusted of the issue of the national cathedral. These are supposed to be men of God. We're supposed to know better and imbibe the spirituality of what the president Addo was trying to do, who were supposed to explain to the citizen that, listen, what Addo is doing is to solve a problem that the nation is going through. My question I keep asking, did any of them understood the spiritual implications and the spiritual benefit of the step that this man took? Because if indeed they are the men of God, as they are, and they have spiritual understanding, if they had and they never came out to speak, that's why I say it breaks my heart. But the issue of the National Cathedral, trust me, one of the things that is fighting the foundations of Ghana is the blood of the judges. So even though it looked like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was the one who made a vow that I'll build a cathedral unto the Lord, please listen carefully. The site that was chosen has a spiritual implication. That is, when that cathedral is built, it will help correct, silence, atone the voices of the judges. But they never had understanding. And these people who call themselves the men of God, who were given the opportunity to handle this matter, respectfully, I'm not speaking against anybody. I'm just speaking the truth. I am not disrespecting anyone. Spiritual truth is spiritual truth. These men who are men of God, who were given the opportunity to handle this matter, break the heart of this man, President Akufo-Addo. And you see, I respect President Akufo-Addo in this matter because you have not heard this man anywhere. If you have heard, you can tell me. Has sat down to complain and murmur about this thing that this man of God did to him. It is heartbreaking. But if they stand up They are making, say we are the watchers and the fathers of the land. They say all these things. Which father will sit down that their house will collapse and break and things will go worse? And you call yourself a father? What kind of father is that? That you are not able, that Ghanaians are angry, saying some of the politicians are making all the noises, that you guys respectfully call yourself fathers of the land, that you are not able to defend this cause, that listen, it is true some of the things you are saying economically doesn't make sense, but spiritually there is that we are supposed to do for our nation, because there are things that has gone wrong with our nation. And this step, that even though Addo is the one who made the promise, the side chosen, that which is to be done is to help correct and silence certain, voices of etc. The things that are fighting our nation. Because that is what this cathedral is supposed to be done. If you're a man of the spirit, you will see it and you know it. Because this man knows a lot about the spiritual fact about the issue of the National Cathedral. He's a voice that is also behind it. That he's not able to come out to speak for people to have the understanding of the spirituality of the issue of the National Cathedral. For Ghanaians to understand that, listen, yeah, economically people are making all the things and saying all the things. Yes. That the misconception that is driven toward this matter. We are talking about the reset of the nation, so I need to mention these things before I end tomorrow. Permit me. Because we are making too much noise and we are not listening. We think everything is about logical explanations. Akufo-Addo was part of the plan of God to help reset the foundation of this nation. The effort of the National Cathedral at what is supposed to silence. And these senior men disgraced this man, broke the heart of Addo. I don't know whether they have secretly went to Addo and apologized to the president, the ex-president Addo. Because they must do that. Because they are breaking the heart of this man. It is a must that they must go to Addo. This men of God, it is a must that they must go to Addo and say, Mr. President, forgive us. We disappointed you. But I don't know whether they have done that. If they are not done that, I'll question the men of God that they are. I'll question them. But we're able to sit down for this whole spiritual thing to be politicized. And they step back with trivialities. If something was even wrong, that is why you are men of God. That is your responsibility to correct, not to run away. If there was something wrong, going wrong with the National Cathedral, that is why he did not go and choose mere men. He chose men he believed. They are men of spiritual authority. If something is wrong, you are men of spiritual authority. You are supposed to do well, correct, direct, and lead. Almost every one of them, when I were choosing, were men of God. But guess what? I'm an observation about the religion, Islam. But the chief imam, another man of the spirit, that the chief imam even contributed. You think that man is not a spiritual man? So if a chief imam will contribute that huge sum of money to the building of the National Cathedral, you think he doesn't know what he was doing? He also knows the spirituality of the nation. The man knows what this will do for the nation. He knows the spiritual reset that can happen to Ghana. That is why he contributed. You think that all these men don't have sense in their head? That if it is wrong to do that project, that they'll give money into it? We make noise about everything without knowing the spiritual implications. And sad it is that after they have disgraced the ex-president Akufo-Addo for the right thing he's trying to do in the helping and reset of the nation, they are not able to sit down to realize, we committed a mistake. And regroup and advise President Mahama that, Mr. President, in fact, we messed up. These are the spiritual truth about the National Cathedral. It may not make economic sense. Errors might be committed. But this is the spiritual truth. Do you think that President Mahama is not a man of wisdom? That if you sit him down and give him understanding, explain things to understanding, he will not get it? That because Papa Kufuor was a man of the spirit, that Ghanaians made the noise, but he still built the presidential palace. Somebody will make a noise, but Nasakada, what will he do for us? That is why I'm telling you that many of you who speak like that, you are men of the flesh, you are not the men of the spirit. That's why I feel anger against the men of the spirit that were asked to mine the National Cathedral. It was their responsibility to make the nation know and understand the spirituality of what they are going to do. Addo said it should be done, even though it was a promise. But the spirituality, it was their responsibility to come out and speak, to educate Ghanaians, to understand that, hey, this thing is sana emphaswa edebe breyeni, both spiritually and physically. But respectfully, they ran away like cowards. I am not calling them cowards. I said they ran away like cowards. It is so grievous that the men of the spirit are always running away when the logical men are making their noise. That's why they are logical men. They are the men of the flesh. They have the right to speak out. Ghanaians have the right to speak out if they are not comfortable about something. But that is why you, the men of the spirit that were chosen about the National Cathedral, you also must come out and speak and address the nation. But this is a question. How can they defend something they don't understand? If they don't understand it, are they really the men of the spirit? Are you getting the point? Did they pray? Did they ask God for deeper understanding about this whole thing as I'm addressing and telling you? And what I'm telling you about the spirituality of the place of the National Cathedral, there are many men of God who knows this. But my question is that, why are they all afraid to come out and speak boldly about this? For me, I only come out to speak about things where God instructs me to say. Everything I'm saying, that's what I'm hearing from heaven. And I'm just relating it to you.